leather, yellow leather.
Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather.
I can't. I'm tongue twisting and all over the place.
Red
just rolling
leather.
all over the carpet. Red leather, yellow leather, good blood, bad blood. Ha!
There you go. She got it.
Ha!
You're red.
We're red.
We're red.
George,
Veronica.
hurry up and wait, L.A.
The podcast.
Whoa! Coming at you from Scott Sedita Acting Studios in Hollywood, California. Okay, what this is an educational podcast for actors and artists alike. We have different artists of sorts come through the studio and talk to the students about their craft and their career.
And tacos.
And
if you're hungry.
Sure, tacos.
Yeah, tacos.
Now I'm hungry for tacos.
I
Thanks.
I am too.
You ruined it.
I am
Okay.
too.
Well, we have Jake Allyn on this podcast.
Jake Allyn.
Why don't you guys take a listen? Yeah. He's a really great guy. Former student of mine from the onset scene study class. Former student of Scott Sedita's from the professional audition technique class. Boom. He's also a series regular on the Quad, which is on what, Veronica?
BET.
That's right, BET. Here you go. Listen to Jake Allyn. I'm going to go get myself some tacos.
Jake Allyn. Woo! Taco.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up?
Have a seat. Get comfortable.
All right.
Jake.
So do we call this like the pyramid of power? Like it's not a circle.
It's a triangle.
It's a triangle. It's a diamond.
It's
a diamond because we're hard and we're shiny like a
Don't
diamond.
you need like a fourth point for that to be a
There's
diamond?
fourth point right over there. The audience is the fourth point.
I like
You're
it.
our fourth point.
I like
Thank
it.
you.
Very
Thank
well.
you.
We made that work.
So, Jake, this is about you, really. Mr. Reliable. It's all about you. It's all about you. A little bit about the studio, but
Scott Sedita Studios.
we were talking a little bit earlier about your journey. You've been out here for 2 years now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was all right? Give it to us brick by brick from the beginning.
I was born in Dallas, Texas.
I was waiting for that.
No,
No, not that far back.
no, I was in. I graduated from college. I went to school in upstate New York, and then I moved out here for like 3 months. Kind of like dipped my toe into acting halfway. I was like working some side jobs, and then also like starting to try and take classes and things like that. And I got a job opportunity in Indonesia to work for a commercial production company. Totally behind the scenes, no acting involved or anything like that. Took it. Spent a year doing that, and as great of a year as it was, making money, saving up money, I missed acting like every single day. Yeah. And so I'm actually very grateful that happened, because it really was like, it's always been in the back of my mind whenever I have like a rough audition, tough class, whatever. It's like, I know why I'm doing this, because I don't want to work a normal job.
I could be
I could be in Indonesia right now. And so when I came back, I think within a week of coming back, I tried to do my research on studios, stumbled into Scott Sedita Studio, met with you, started doing scene study here.
Did some great scenes.
Yeah, did some really cool scenes. Fell on my face a bunch. Fell forward, tried to keep falling forward, and started doing some training with Scott, and then worked my way up like anybody else.
Were you acting in college too? Were you?
Yeah, I did acting in college. I was a history major, but then was doing acting on the side, like doing different classes and stuff.
Okay, so there was a theater program that you were.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you were playing football too.
I was. Yeah.
Dude,
It's like High School Musical.
Really?
Nobody else said that to me.
That's great. Oh, yeah. Wanted to basketball.
No, I wanted to minor in theater, but in order to minor, you had to be in a certain amount of stage productions, and I had been in like 2 or something like that. You needed to be in 4, but the time that they did theater was also the allotted time for football. So like it was like theater arts and like sports was all at the same time from like 4 to 7.
That's always the way. That's always the way. And you got to pick one.
Yeah, it was kind of. I was kind of mad. Like I was like, I'm a football player trying to be in theater. Like, shouldn't that be like?
It should be honored. Really, it should be like it should be encouraged more than anything, so that the paths are constantly crossing. So you don't have.
They're not about it.
Yeah.
They're like no.
Instead of pick one or the other, what will win? It's like the final battle.
Yeah.
But was it straight plays or musicals?
Was it what?
Straight plays or musicals?
Straight plays?
No singing whatsoever. just like straight up talking.
So your first jobs out here in LA, they were straight, right? I mean, were you doing jobs up in Northridge? Is what I'm asking. Up in Van Nuys, maybe?
Straight plays.
Oh, okay, straight plays. Okay.
He's like straight.
Straight plays.
Yeah. So, but man, that is a shame because I remember that too. Like in high school, you know. Well, when I started the whole thing, I started off as like an actual dancer, and I was doing the Nutcracker and all this other stuff. My mom was like, "Do you want?" Because my sister was up on stage. She was like, "Do you want to join your sister? You want to do what your sister does?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And then I went to an all-boy Catholic high school, and that ended really quick.
Yeah, me too.
It ended really quick. I was like, tap dancing? No. No. I'm going to listen to Depeche Mode and smoke cigarettes instead.
Yeah,
exactly. That's true. And also, Cornell's motto was where any student can study any subject. Literally, that's the motto. And I went in like with that firepower. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not trying to look for like an athlete exception. I'm looking for like, let's stay true to your motto exception. And they just wouldn't budge.
Would you be able to study then anything like Lord of the Rings mythology then? Like if any subject? What? Like the freedom to study any subject.
I don't know if you could major in that, but
sure you could.
Like
they had everything
like your own
there.
major, like elfish and all that. Yeah. Get the tattoo. I'm just.
What are you interested in? What interests you?
Sword fighting.
You just want to be
sword fighting.
Yeah, she wants to chop zombie heads off. We realized that.
I'm on season 5 of Walking Dead. I'm binge watching for the first time all the way through. Michonne's a badass.
Yeah. When did the acting bug first hit you? Like when did you know? Like when did you get? Because I know when I got bit. I knew like it was like every actor I feel like has that moment where they're like, this is it. This is what I want to freaking do.
Yeah. When I was a sophomore in college, I spent the summer in Indonesia with my older brother, who you know is a filmmaker, and he was doing a pre-production for his first action movie that he was doing in Indonesia.
Oh wow!
And the main character was a white guy, but then everybody else was Indonesian characters, and of course they did not have the Hollywood actor that they were bringing over for the movie during all the audition process for the Indonesian actors, so they needed somebody to read that part. So that I became the reader. That was like how I got bit. And so when all these Indonesian actors would come into the room to audition, which I didn't even know how auditions worked. Yeah, that was before all the like the famous YouTube auditions. You know, like Rich McAdams was like auditioning, and everyone could just see what that audition process is like.
That's so crazy that they could do that.
Yeah, and these guys would come in and just transform in front of my eyes, and it was amazing. It was the only time. There's a feeling that I would get before a football game of like excitement and butterflies and all that right before a big game or whatever, and I never felt that doing anything else but acting. So that was how I got bit, I guess.
Well, your dad's in the business, your brother's in the business. I mean, it's kind of
I got to be around it.
It was passed down. Almost in the blood. It's in the blood.
But I wanted to they never did acting, and I always like wanted to be around them, but also you want to do your own thing.
Yeah.
But I think everything else that you did must have really helped and reinforced your acting as well, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
What kind of stuff that you learned from being? And this is another thing that I try to stress that's important to the students all the time too. Is like learn what's going on behind the scenes, you know, or
if nothing else, it just gives you a different type of appreciation. If you write a script, then all of a sudden when you get an audition, you look at the words with so much more detail and so much more respect for every little word that they put, because you know the time and effort that goes into writing a script.
Because because it's about the story. It's about the story that's being told and about the writer's intent as well. It's not just about memorizing words, right? That's the last thing.
Yeah. You study the words. You don't memorize them.
You study the words. You uncover them. You figure out what you're actually saying here, and then you get into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What kind of stuff have you carried from here at the studio with you over into your professional life?
I mean, two different ways. I mean, the work that I was doing with Scott was very much audition based, but then because I'm chatting with you, I would definitely say just the amount of preparation that should go into any scene study should be carried in to if you actually book a job, you need to start that process over. With the quad, I auditioned like 7 times.
Wow.
It was like a 2.5 month, whatever process to get the job.
Was that the role the whole time too? Was it Bojan, or they have you reading for other roles?
No. I was not reading for the young rapper.
No, you weren't for the young rapper.
One white guy.
Strictly Bojan.
Yeah, strictly Bojan. It was actually funny. At one of the auditions, I was auditioning at the same time as they had the young rapper Cedric on the show, and they made them freestyle rap as part of their audition.
That makes sense.
And so I'm like, I got like my, pages of sides, and I'm freaking out or whatever. And like, they're like, okay, freestyle. And I can hear them like trying to spit rhymes, and they're sweating, and like it's all intense. And I'm like, okay, I'll be fine. 6 pages or whatever.
I got some words I have to memorize. Not even my own.
Yeah. It made it a lot easier. But but after I did get the job, there was definitely that like, oh shit, like I have to go do it. Like I have to go do it for a while, and I have to go make it different than just what I had to do to get the job or to win the room or whatever. And that's when you go back to the scene study and what did I need? What did I need to succeed and get better over a 6-week process here? And I can do that on the show.
Did you have enough time between like the time that after 7 times for auditioning the role,
a lot of the work is done for you.
A lot of the work is done for you already. Yeah. Did you? The guy that plays your dad, did you have to do like chemistry reads or anything with him, or did you meet him on set?
I met him on set.
What was that like? Because those are hard scenes, man.
Those were hard scenes. I mean, that was definitely the harder scenes to do, the hardest scenes, but also the best scenes because they're the most challenging. That's what you want to do. With him, I found the best thing to do, and what I'm most proud of is that as like hard of a guy as he is, he kind of plays if you haven't seen the show, he plays kind of a racist, old curmudgeon-y white guy, and his son is kind of like finding himself at this all-black school, and so there's obviously confliction. Yeah. And like the best thing that we did once we did meet each other was spend as much positive time as we could offset. That's good. We would go hiking on the weekends. We went to like we would go volunteer at like a dog shelter together and like do some workouts and stuff like that. Completely
Is that just
positive
stuff that you guys came up with each other?
Yeah. Because we knew, like,
that's awesome.
The scenes, like, that relationship, the, like, hard-nosed Texas dad who's got a son that he's trying to get out of the small town. We've all seen that story before, right? It's a very, like, classic football tale. But what a lot of people hadn't seen was if it was, like, really, really based in, like, love.
Yeah.
And, like, I love my dad, and I want to make him proud more than anything. So when he does say, fine, stay, calls my friends coloreds. That's going to hurt so much more when it's the person, when it's
your hero.
Yeah, when
it's your hero, yeah.
You know what I mean? You know how, like, we all probably have, like, acting heroes.
Yeah.
And then, like, when you meet them, if they're just, like, an asshole, it hurts so much more than if you're like, oh, yeah, I've heard that actor's an asshole, and then he turns out to be an asshole. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, he's an asshole. Yeah.
But it's even human, human, and having, like, a bad day. It's just
I think that's, like, a really smart angle for you, the way that you approach it as well, is what I say to the students all the time as well, is that, because, like, the first thing that somebody goes to when they're creating a backstory for their character is, I was molested when I was 7. And it's like, not every character was. Some characters have, may have had good times with their parents, may have gone to carnivals, may have done this, may have gone to church, gone hiking, things like that. And the fact that, because when your expectations are set that high with your family, when they let you down, it hurts even more.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
And I was not molested as a kid. Right. My dad is incredibly supportive of acting and whatever I've done in my life. He gave me a job in Indonesia, you know what I mean? So I couldn't draw from that. Yeah. But what I could draw was how much someone can love their dad.
Yeah.
And so then if you have that love ripped away, that's when you can get like some great drama and
that's going to leave some stuff for you to deal with in the second season.
Yeah. Like it can keep going too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because now spoilers. Can we do spoilers? Should we do spoilers?
Yeah, the season's out.
The season's out.
Yeah.
Watch it. BET, The Quad. Yeah. Go watch it.
For free on BET.com.
Yeah.
So there.
My favorite 4-letter word.
Yes.
Free. Yeah. Free. But yeah, so now you're going to be the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? So you're going to really be seen. So you think he's going to be really involved in that?
I think so.
Yeah.
He's going to want to come like have a piece of it. I don't know if he's going to support.
Because I mean, you're the
I'm very curious
now.
to see how our next.
Well, it's interesting how like art imitates life. Because who's that basketball player right now in March Madness whose dad was making all that noise on ESPN?
Yes.
And he's decided he's not going back to college.
The UCLA guy,
the
right?
UCLA kid. Anybody?
Hill?
Was it?
I think his name's
I'm going to go with Hill.
Sure.
UCLA basketball player.
UCLA basketball player.
Yeah,
but yeah, his dad was making so much noise.
Yeah. He said he would beat Jordan in one-on-one.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like calling out the coaches and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And now this kid is going to go from being, he's not going to go back to college. He's going to go into being a free agent. And, do the professional teams actually want to touch him? Mm-hmm. Would you want to touch that? Because there's a lot of press that comes with it. Kaepernick's dealing with that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's not just the player you're dealing with, it's the baggage that comes along.
Yeah.
So that's
because of that great relationship, it makes all my other relationships interesting because I carry that with me.
Yeah.
If you see scenes with the coach and I where I'm asking for more playing time, it's there because there's that feeling of this kid that can't make the most important person in his life, the one person that should love you unconditionally, I couldn't make proud of myself. Like, isn't that going to make me nervous with every authority figure?
Yeah.
He's certainly a head coach, you know what I mean, that he's trying to get more playing time from. He's going to be nervous.
Yeah.
Going after a girl that he likes. There's a girl that I like on the show that I'm very nervous to talk to. It's because, like, this kid's been burnt.
There's an eagerness to please, too.
Yeah, eagerness to please.
There's an eagerness to please, too.
Not letting people down.
Yeah. That's a lot to carry on your back. But so fun to play. But what an awesome challenge. Yeah, what an awesome challenge. It's so fun to play.
Absolutely.
You rose to the freaking challenge.
Yeah. And it makes it... I find that, again, like going back to your class and stuff like that, is that if you know your relationships really well and you know who your character is, like what his or her like inner wants are, like inner weaknesses are, then when you get a brand new script the morning of, or you don't get any script the morning of, or whatever it might be, or you get the audition the night before or something like that, and you just got to figure like somebody out real quick, you have all those things to fall back on.
Oh, yeah.
And the words don't like worry you as much.
Well, the way that I was taught is I was putting together tools to put in my toolbox.
Yeah,
totally. That I can open up anytime I want it.
Yeah, so, like, absolutely.
I did this play last season. We're bringing it back, by the way, this summer. Motherfucker
nice.
with the Hat.
Cool, I never
the French Festival. We're bringing back Motherfucker with the Hat for the French Festival, so come and see it if you haven't seen it, you fucks. Sorry, I didn't
Whoa.
yeah.
It was a play on words with the title. It's cool.
A play on words with the motherfucker.
It's a play.
Okay, so maybe this isn't a PG show after all. Yeah.
You started it.
I did start it. I triggered it. But, like after doing that, I put so much stuff into that character's toolbox that now I get audition sides and I'll look at it and I go, that's audition sides, okay. Let me add a little bit of this and a little bit of that,
Like a recipe or something.
Like a recipe, exactly. You become a chef and you're tossing things in the kitchen.
Yeah. And it also shows you, like, how deep and multi-layered every character should be, no matter what you're given. You know what I mean? Don't just eat a plain pizza when you know there can be so much more on it,
So what's your process when you're working on a character then? I mean, are you more of a write it out or more of a meditate it out?
I would, really good question, and that was definitely something I learned here and like kept learning. I definitely write it out.
Okay.
But the main difference and the main thing that really helped me like take at least my acting to a new level, or at least try to, is not just writing something out, but like living it out.
Yeah.
It's not, and this is probably what I didn't do enough in your class. Like when I look back on what I could have done more or something, it's like I always had the answer if you asked me like, well, what was your relationship like with your dad? And you know what I mean? And I always knew that answer, but I don't think I necessarily had lived it out.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just not enough to be able to say, oh, well, my character was born in Chicago, actually. You know what I mean? That means nothing. But if you remember Christmas morning in Chicago with your parents and you really have that memory built in your mind, then, like, you can add it to your tool bag.
Exactly.
Draw it. So that's...
being in the details.
Yeah, exactly.
Having the specifics, having the details, knowing, like, I mean, it's not enough to say that I walked in on my wife, cheating on me with my neighbor. You have to walk. You have to actually picture what the hell it is you just saw.
Yes.
Like, his big flabby ass.
Over again.
What? Have you watched this show?
Why a flabby ass?
I don't know. Because I imagine him to be less than me. That's why.
So do you find that you end up writing out those memories, like going like pages upon pages, like you're writing your own story?
Yeah, absolutely. Viggo Mortensen, who I think is a guy we should all be okay to steal from, says that whenever he does a movie, he is really simple, because everyone wants to ask him about his process, because he's so like method, right? Yeah. And he's like, I just ask myself one question, like, what is everything that happened in my character's life from birth to page 1 of the script?
Oh, wow.
And it's as simple as that. And you can't do it all, but you can do as much as you possibly can until you start shooting. Yeah. And as long as you put everything into that until you start shooting, then you'll be okay.
The pertinent details. Where is my character from socially, economically? Yeah. What was his family life like? Were they married, divorced, brothers, sisters? Who was my first love?
It allows you to face
first time that their heart was broken. Was their heart ever broken?
First concert they ever attended. Little things, color.
Motley Crue.
Just saying.
Motley Crue at Madison Square Garden. Thank you very much.
Nice.
In sync for my 13th birthday.
What was your first concert, Jake?
I think it was ZZ Top.
Nice.
It was like 10 or 11, It's big time.
That's dope.
Right on.
Yeah,
parents are rad.
American Airlines, Texas, man.
10-year-old at a ZZ Top show. Right on.
Man.
I get much respect on that.
Yeah.
Legit, every time I hear ZZ Top now, I always think of Back to the Future. Always.
Well.
The third one.
The third one.
Because Waddle Bass with all the beards. Nobody?
I'm with you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm with your excitement.
I think that's right. Nobody was matching my level. I was just like, okay, let's move on with the podcast.
It happens.
Any particular obstacles or anything that you think you might have faced or anything you want to share with us?
I would say one obstacle that I definitely faced on set in the last couple of months that is very similar to here is like having to just be ready at all times. You know what I mean? Like things are going to change on a dime, and you just have to be ready for that. Like I definitely remember I was in the Monday night class, and sometimes you're the last person up because everyone is actually showing up that night, and you get here at 6:30, and you're not going to do a scene that you have to be very emotionally charged for, and you're not going to be able to do it until 11:15 at night. And like that's a bummer. It sucks. But it's the same on set. You know what I mean? Like it's the same when you're actually working. You might think that you're first up, and you're like, oh, sweet, I'm the first up. I'm ready to go. Great night's sleep. I'm ready to rock. And you get there, and you look at the little mini sides, and all of a sudden your scene is last.
Yeah, they changed things.
And you got to wait all day. Or the opposite. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I flew back, we did the first 9 episodes from October through December, and then we did the very last, we did the finale episode in January. So I had all of Christmas break to sit on our script, which was good, because I got the script so far in advance.
Cool.
I'm at the airport, and I start shooting the next day, which I was already moved up a day. And so I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks, but whatever, at least I know, like, at least I've had these last 2 weeks to prepare. I'm at the airport, and I'm like boarding my flight, and I get an email of new pages, revisions to the script. Thank God it was right before I got on the plane. Because I was able to open it and actually work on the plane rather than get off the plane and have it.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have been able to open it.
Right. And so I like look at it and I'm like, wow, like they've changed all my stuff. And guess what? All my scenes are the first 2 days. You know what I mean? Like what a bummer. But if you have your character, like we were talking about, if you've done all your homework, especially for 9 episodes, if you've done all that work in your relationships and your wants, all that great stuff, then you just got to look at the words and take a breath and break down your script like you would any other day, and and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
you know. But if you try to like do all the work right before the scene or right before the audition real fast, it's not going to work.
No, you can't cram for a test.
Exactly.
It's not like cramming for a test at all. You know?
You need time for it to settle into your bones.
I mean, and that whole thing about like if you have that really rough scene, that really emotional scene, and at the end of the day, and trying to hold that all the entire day too, I know what that's like too. You get drained. You know, it's like, I mean, it happens with auditioning too. Like, you'll have an audition at 4:30 in the afternoon in Santa Monica, and it's the most emotional thing that you're supposed to do all day long, and you're like, why?
I can't let go.
Why couldn't this been at 11, 10, 11 a.m.? I could have been done with it by now. I want to treat myself to something.
Right. You do have to learn, like, kind of pace yourself somewhat, you know? Like, never get fully out of it, but...
What's your longest days over there?
Like, just hour-wise?
Yeah.
I think we had... Some of the football days would go from, like, 5 a.m. until, 9 or 10 at night.
How much of the actual football... Because you're a football player. How much of the actual football did you play?
I probably did, like... Maybe 85% of it, something like that. It would usually come down to, like, okay, like, Bojan's got to take, like, a gnarly tackle. Like, then I would come out and stuff like that.
Stunt double!
Okay. I was going to say, so you committed and got them bruises? Oh, stunt double.
No. Then they have to stop production.
I tried to do as much. In the pilot, my storyline is centered around coming into this team late, and, like, they don't respect me. They don't want me on the team. Not only am I, like, the one white player on the team, but I'm also missing training camp and all that hard stuff, basically. And I'm basically just, 5-star recruit, we'll throw him in and he'll be the man. And, like, no one on the team respects that. So I definitely tried to, because all the actors that they got for the other football players were real football players who either played in the NFL or, like, D1.
I like that guy that plays your roommate, Junior.
Yeah, cool. Like, he was in the NFL. Like, he was legit. And I remember talking to the producers and being like I want to do as much as possible because, like, I'm Bojan, right? I'm trying to gain their respect and show them that I'm not just this prissy white quarterback that's got a good arm, that, like, I can be their leader. You got to let me do some of the stuff.
Nice.
Because that's how we're gonna really earn all the respect. And, like, that's how I did. You know what I mean? And everyone was surprised by that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, to be honest, like, they have a stunt guy on set. Don't take his job.
No.
That's his job.
Yeah.
Let him do his job and let him get paid and do what he's a professional at. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if you do get hurt, you're screwing everybody over, including yourself, because you're holding up production. So, like, do as much as you can and, like, put yourself out there as much as you can while not being selfish.
Yeah.
It's good
thinking
balance.
You're a badass or whatever.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Good advice. Any advice you got for the actors out there today auditioning here at the studio? Or
I would say, like, don't try to. I found that, like, when I first got here, I kept trying to take the shortcut to everything. Whether it was an audition, and I was just like, I'll just do this really cool moment, and that'll, like, get me the call back or whatever, rather than just taking the long way to get into the front door. Kind of, if that makes sense. Yeah. You know, like, if
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, exactly.
In other words, it's There's no shortcut to
right. And the only way to run a marathon is if you train every day for a marathon.
Well, that's the thing. Is, like, your work ethic has always been, like I was telling you earlier. I spoke to Scott Sedita yesterday, and I was like, Scott, is there anything else anything in particular you want me to ask, Jake about? And he was like, I just remember him working so hard. That's all he would say. Is like, he was working so hard, like, all the time. Like, he knew what he wanted, he went after it, and he got it. Yeah. And that's what it takes. It really does take fucking eye.
And I would say also that, like, I think I am definitely proof that you can get better at acting.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily just, like, born with it or not born with it, you know what I mean? Like, I think we're all probably already born with a propensity to want to do this and to entertain and to tell stories. But it's not like being able to cry in a scene or being able to get to this or to that isn't something we're just born with. It's something you can work toward. It's called a craft for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is, like, starting to, like, get rid of some of demystifying what people actually think acting is, or debunking. I mean, debunking what it is, debunking what people think acting actually is, which is, like, learning words and mugging for the camera and going to red carpets and parties. Yeah, like you were saying. No, it's it's hard. I mean, it it's rich work, but it's work.
Hours and hours and hours and hours.
And the only other thing I would say about like straight up auditioning is that if you go in and your aim is to just be good or just to suffice the material, you'll always be good, but you might never book it.
Yeah.
But if you go in with like extremely detailed choices, even if they're not exactly what's on the page or what's in the little character breakdown, you might not get every part. You definitely won't get every part, but you'll book.
Oh yeah.
That made a big difference in my career the last year. It's like not trying to like just be good and like make them kind of happy.
Yeah.
But it was to go in and like explode and like really catch their attention. And I found that like I would get out of some, be like, oh man, I'm not going to book that one. That was the wrong choice.
But you swung for the fences.
But I swung for the fences, and there's too much competition to just try and get a base hit.
Oh yeah, especially in this town.
Yeah, because if you swing for the fences, you might just get a single. Which is great.
You might.
You know what I mean? You might just get a great co-star or whatever. You know what I mean?
Are there any jobs that you didn't get that you were like, oh man,
that I was like sad about not getting?
Yeah,
there's tons. But honestly, it all comes around. I was going after a part on the HBO show Ballers.
Oh yeah.
And it was like a
The Rock. Love The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock. Yeah. It was like a 3-episode recurring, which that would have been so great, like amazing. It was like the biggest part, definitely the biggest part I'd ever gone after. It was a football player. Would have had a scene with The Rock, all that great stuff. And I made it like to the producer session or something like that. I did like 3 or 4, didn't get it, and I was like, that was the perfect part.
I fail.
The next day, I go in for the quad, which is Texas football player, like tough backstory, great drama, all that stuff. Obviously worked out for a series regular, all that great stuff. If I'd gotten the Ballers, I wouldn't have been able to audition for it. Okay. You know what I mean? And it would have been 3 amazing episodes, and I would have been perfectly happy to have that, but
that's exactly why I asked, though.
Yeah.
See, that's exactly why I asked, because I get so many actors that are like, this could be my big break. This could be my big break. And it's like, they could all be your freaking big break, man. Yeah. Let's be honest, okay? But go in there and swing for the fences, and you got to learn to let it go. Because you never know what's going to happen in this town. In like a snap of a finger, the blink of an eye, your entire life can change. That's awesome. Yeah. I think Veronica's got some stalker questions for you.
Okay.
She's going to put on her stalker face, stalker hat.
It's a stalker face. Yeah. Okay, first of all, I know that you play the character Bo John Folsom on BET's The Quad. So
back in Atlanta.
Right? So may I call you Bo? Because I know that you told everybody on the show to call you Bo, but everybody kept calling you Bo John, which, by the way, was just totally disrespectful.
Thank you.
But anyway. So Bo, what is the situation with you and Alyssa right now? Because she understands that you're going to college and you need to be free and let your wings fly and, like, you need to date around. So, like, explain that situation to me.
I'm doing my best right now to keep Alyssa happy while doing what Bojan needs to do to succeed on and off the field.
That's why we love you. You're just such a gentleman.
Thank you.
Because she really just needs to let you go.
Yeah, I had invited her to homecoming weekend before I had met Taisha, and I couldn't go back on that, so it made for an awkward weekend.
So you had to keep your promise.
Yes. Bojan always keeps his promise.
Even though your heart is with somebody else, I understand. It's cool. So now with Taisha.
Yeah, let's talk about Tai.
Can I just say that it was adorable the way you asked her out, and then she just totally like put you in the friend zone? Your face was so precious. Yeah.
Wait, whoa. Bojan ain't in anybody's friend zone.
Totally friend zone. Do you want to go to movies? Sure. Junior, you want to go to a movie? Let's go. That's friend zone. Oh,
don't you think?
I'm sorry, sweetie.
But did you not see how jealous she was that Alyssa came to homecoming? She literally brought it up while we were drinking in my dorm.
Ooh. But in the end, you ended up just hanging out with her like as a friend.
Right.
Like the 3 of you together. Like you're very rarely just the 2 of you.
Well, couldn't that be... That's why I need to talk to Junior about that. Why don't we talk to him?
You need to figure this out.
Yeah,
because
right now, Junior.
It's all kinds of confusing, and I'm not okay with it. Yeah. I need things to be clear-cut, black and white.
Yeah.
Just black and white.
It goes full circle.
That's full circle right there. And then my last question for you would have to be with the whole Reggie situation. You were amazing
yes.
and like a superhero. The way you defended him against the coach, like choking him out. Spoilers, everybody. He choked out his coach, but it was for a really good reason.
Yeah, a little anger issue.
Did you befriend him on Facebook?
Yes.
And you guys are still in touch?
Yes.
That is so beautiful.
Yes. He Instagram messages me all the time.
He follows you on Instagram?
Yes.
Does he send you like cute puppy memes?
No.
Well, he should.
Yeah. Mostly he just asks for the scene for his reel.
Oh, is that
I don't know, dude.
Everybody's looking for tape in this town. Everybody's looking for tape.
That I tell you what, that kid is amazing. To come in for a one-day co-star role. I mean, he's in one scene and he's asked to play the in the closet homosexual on a football team who gets called out in front of the whole team.
In Texas.
To be called in for a one-day role on that for a 16-year-old for his first SAG project,
Wow.
and to come in and cry and like be there and stuff like that was like, I really respected that kid, which is why we DM each other, you know.
The heartstrings were pulled. There were so many emotions.
Yeah.
He looked so heartbroken.
The feels.
Yeah. Like you watched his performance happen, and then you watched him watch his performance happen, and so that like inspired you to go and do your Incredible Hulk situation.
Yes.
It was great.
Yeah, he's been known to go Hulk mode.
So there's a question that I have now. This will be my stalker question, I guess.
Please do.
But all right, so this character Bojan actually has some sort of
Moral
compass, a moral code that he lives up to. But he's finds that his father is a racist. I mean, do you derive your moral code from your father, and is that what hurts even more?
I think I used to.
Okay.
But I think definitely in college, it's the first time living away from home, being outside the bubble, and you do start to develop your own principles and things like that.
Okay.
Now, when it came to that, I think in that moment, what Bojan was feeling when that coach was going after Reggie was he saw his dad going after him, and he couldn't attack his dad. He didn't have the strength. Not until later in the season did he have the strength to stand up to his dad. But in high school, in that moment, when he saw the coach going after Reggie, he was able, because he knows how much that hurts.
So it's PTSD or transference.
I mean,
transference. Yeah.
He's just like, no, daddy, no, daddy, no.
Yeah, like, I mean, when I'm strangling him, like what was going through my head was like, I'm strangling my dad right now. You know what I mean?
Which actually,
when he's saying like, you don't get to touch him.
Yeah.
You know, that's like him yelling at his dad. That's you don't get to touch.
Yeah.
You don't get to hurt.
Because Bojan has had history with his dad from that
from the beginning.
Yeah.
I do actually have a question about the fight choreography portion of it. So when you were doing like the chokehold thing, did they have like a choreographer come in and like walk you guys through all of that and have to run it over and over and over again for safety?
Yes. Though I did not speak to that coach
at all.
Not until the scenes.
It's like,
it's so
hi, nice to meet you. My name is Bojan. I'm gonna be choking you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like an interesting thing about like once you really start working is you get that script and you go, okay, circle this guy that I'm gonna have to do a tremendously hard scene with, and I'm going to meet him 10 minutes before.
Yeah.
Many years ago, I once did a Western.
You must have thousand stories of that.
I did a Western, and my first scene, I show up on set. In my first scene, I meet Kim Coates from Sons of Anarchy. But we were doing this Western, and the first thing that I'm doing is him throwing me down beating the shit out of me and throwing me down a hill. I was like, nice to meet you, Kim. Boom. Dance. I was like,
throw me down the hill.
Just throw me down the hill. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you got to be ready for it.
That's another reason, like, why you got to know your own character inside and out, because you have no idea what he's going to show up with. Just because maybe you know his dialogue. Yeah. You don't know what he's going to do.
You also have to know where you are in story, right?
Absolutely.
Where you are in the script, because you're constantly shooting
outside of order.
So
definitely.
You can be shooting that last scene first and that first scene last. You never know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We shot, in that scene, it's like a memory, a flashback. And we shot where she comes into my dorm and asks me to tell her the story. We shot because it's the beginning of the scene. She asks like, what happened? What happened to you in high school? Then I tell her the story. We go into the flashback, and then it comes back, and I'm back in my room having just told the story, even though we just tell it through the flashback.
Right.
And I've just told it to her, and I'm like all flustered from having told the story. And when we shot it, she comes in, asks me to tell my story. Beat. as if I've just told the story, and then they would just like come back up when you feel like you've told the story.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I just like told it out loud.
Huh.
You know what I mean? Just basically said what happened, and that usually gets you there. Like, there's something about like saying all whatever your painful story is out loud, rather than just like up here that usually gets you a little more emotionally attached.
So preparing for that day, then, did you have like a playlist, like you were just like playing on repeat, like in your head to get you there?
Yeah, I definitely had like a Bojan playlist that I would.
What's on your Bojan playlist?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Oh, I can't. It's like a private thing.
Because we know it's country rap. Like,
no,
that's a big
there's not a
thing.
single hip-hop song. I had to Google that.
There's some Johnny Cash on there, though.
Yeah.
There's definitely some
Johnny Cash.
Well, on the show, they have him listening to a hybrid of, what did they call it? Country rap. It was
hip-hop.
Hip-hop.
Does anybody know hip-hop? Y'all know that?
What the heck is
I've
hip hop?
never heard of that before in my life.
I wouldn't know that.
Why would anybody? I thought it was a misspell, like in the script. I thought it meant to be like it's hip hop, and they just spelled it hip hop by accident. And then I got to the set, and they were like, "All right, this is the song we've got you playing, or we got you listening to."
Okay.
And I was like,
what is
nobody listens to?
Sam, have you ever heard of hip hop?
Never heard of that.
Never
Never heard of it.
Pull up
Then it
some.
became
Can
like
you
my
pull up some
theme
hip hop?
song.
some country rap hybrid
Just so I can
situation?
see what the heck that sounds like.
I'm gonna Google
It's
this.
like
Because it was like a ringtone.
it's not even like Kid Rock type stuff.
It's
It's
really-
way more
like ICP
aggressive.
or something.
ICP?
Definitely not on the Bojan track.
Bubba Sparks.
Yeah,
Bubba Sparks?
yeah, it's gonna be a little bit like that.
Love Sparks, yeah.
But I will say, like, doing the iPod or whatever is a nice way to, I don't know, I found it to be like a kind of a respectful way to tell the crew that, like, hey, I'm in my place.
I'm an actor.
Yeah, what's your ritual? What's your...
I have, like, vocal warm-ups that I do, like, before any scene or just, like, before work that day. And then usually just whenever I'm not, like, shooting or if they're doing a turnaround or something like that, I usually step away and do, just sit and listen to music.
Listen to
Or
music. to your
pace.
mental
I'm
prep.
like a bad pacer.
Yeah.
Because, like, like,
Wearing
if you ever see me, like, in an
harnesses.
audition or whatever, I'm just, like, walking in circles around the audition place.
Yeah, your role is not really one of those roles where you can just be like sitting around the craft service table and shooting up the shit with somebody and be like, yeah, so da-da-da-da. Okay, Jake, to set.
Yeah.
Okay, great, let me cry.
I gotta
Let me be
go choke
upset.
out my racist father.
Yeah. Or just to carry, like we said, to carry those, the burden of, like, that passed around. Even if you're not having to cry or whatever, you know what I mean?
Have you spoken to other, or done research online on, like, other kids who may have been abused by their parents?
Yeah, I did a
or-
good amount of research on, like, specifically, like primal athletes, like super athletes, like a lot of like Olympians. Because how many times do we see Olympians that started at like age 8?
Right.
And they had like really aggressive parents. So I read a lot about them, and that was really where I started with like the simpleness of like you're trying to make your dad proud.
Yeah.
And like if you simplify everything, that's usually the best way to get really specific.
Yeah.
If you try to do everything because you want to be really specific, you're just going to do a whole bunch of nothing. But if you get really specific in like your characters, more like, okay, all I want to do is make my dad proud. Okay, I'm just going to do everything based off that one simple, specific note. That is what allows you to be detailed in everything else.
What do you think Bojan's reaction would be like if his father actually said, "I was proud of you, son"?
I think it would be like the greatest moment in his life.
Yeah.
I think it would be his proudest moment. I think it would be his greatest achievement.
Oof.
And then they'd share a slice of ice cream cake.
The what?
Why ice cream cake?
Because it's amazing. Ice cream cake equals happiness. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Have you had
Maybe
ice
I just
cream
need to bring my
specific.
dad some ice cream cake and we'll make up.
And he will say, I am proud of
I'm
you.
proud of you.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Oh man.
Should we take some questions from the live studio audience? You guys,
Sure.
question. Yes.
What are some of the skills you've learned here that you use the most on set or just auditioning in general?
I would say definitely like the relationship building and all the backstory work that you'll do in a scene study class is definitely like what you take forward if you're able to work, you know.
Yeah.
Rockin'.
Just the work that it takes, just the foundation that you need to build any character or relationship. There's also an extreme amount of like professionalism in this class and also in Scott's classes that you can carry into a working set. Such as filming, the way you guys film your scenes at the end of the cycle. I mean, it's hard to prepare for the fact that like there's going to be a camera in your face when you have to do a big scene or whatever.
And all the hurry up and wait too.
Yeah, hurry up and wait.
Oh, we have to, take down. All right, we have to set up for the next shot. You sit over there and stew for a little bit on all your feelings.
Yeah,
while we set up.
Feel them
exactly.
Yeah. And when it comes to your backstory, you don't. Because you do the work, it doesn't mean that you're trying to show all the work either, right? I mean, that's like something that I've really seen. In your stuff too. Is like you're not showing it all, but you can see it's all there.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It's like I find when I work with Scott, it's always we start the work. Eventually I show him it, and then he goes, "Great, you showed me it. Okay, now bury it all."
Yeah.
Now don't show me anything of it while letting me see a twinkle. You know what I mean? That's like the good stuff. You know what I mean?
Iceberg effect.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when you're like, am I doing anything though? But am I doing anything? Yes, believe me, trust me, you are.
Yeah. We see it.
And in the studio, when it's all just about the acting and then just the craft, the other stuff like representation or getting other things will come. You know what I mean? Like I remember we did some other podcasts in here and we talked about social media and things like that. You know when I got the most social media followers? When I booked a show and you're actually acting and people watch the show and follow you. You know what I mean? Like just concentrate on what's right in front of you and like what you can control.
Yeah.
And like what you can control is how much effort you put into your work.
Yeah. You can't.
You can't control if you're tall enough. Whatever to be the guy. Tall
enough, good looking enough, funny enough, whatever. You can't, or blonde enough or not blonde enough, whatever.
Yeah.
You can't. Casting is like, you don't take it personally. You can't, so long as you go in there and you can walk out with your head held high.
Yeah.
Like you actually, I did my job. Okay.
Proud of what I did.
I'm proud of what I did for whatever. Regardless, though, by the time you get to your car, though, you're always like, wait a minute, but I could have.
I should have made this choice. That would have been the stronger choice.
Yeah, you get over that. But
if you go in and swing for the fences. Then you're like, fuck it. I hooked it way left. But
I missed it
whatever.
Big. Yeah. They will remember me.
They will remember me.
Exactly.
Hopefully in a good way.
I find just one last tidbit. I listen to a lot of like sad conversations and things like that with other actors, and I find that the best actors, the ones, the Gary Oldmans of the world, and all those guys that have had such great careers, they have the best failed audition stories because they're the guys who swung for the fences.
Yeah.
Whereas other people that I know that like me work a little bit here and there or whatever, I'm like, oh, it's like just a failed audition story. They haven't. I haven't had too many. They always have gone pretty well. Yeah. It's like that's scary. You want to have a couple like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that.
I did a Russian accent.
Yeah.
And it was like set in like China.
Don't do that.
No.
A Russian accent set in China.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
It's definitely a choice.
Memorable choice. Any other questions?
Follow up on the backstory.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can get from the script, but then with your character is very complicated. Where do you kind of fill it? What do you do to fill in the blanks of stuff that's not necessarily in the script, and you kind of have to come up with
like without going too far off. That's a good question. Like without going too far off the rails.
Yes.
Yeah. I think if you definitely start with what is on the page and build that backstory or that memory, and then if in doing that memory it leads you somewhere else, I think you're good. But I think if you just sit around and you go, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if Bojan also knew karate? Like that would be sick. And then you're not even starting from the script, then I think you have some problems. So I'd say as long as you start in the foundation of the script, then you're going to be good to go wherever that might lead you.
Does the writer on set help you out whenever you're stuck? Like, do they give you good advice if you're ever stuck? Okay, what would this happen in this character?
I would say the director
Okay.
probably does the most of that. Yeah, they were pretty good on it. I actually liked. We had a different director on each episode, and I was really nervous about it at first because, like we were saying, I was like, oh, but I already have my backstory. Like Bojan's mine. Like, you don't know him. But I found that like each week when we got a new one, he would like he was like a new challenger because like for him it was all new, so he could spot like your tendencies and things like that. So yeah, and as long as you trust the director, like it's a huge problem if you don't trust your director. That was one of the things. I tried to watch other scenes, if I wasn't working, and I found that when actors trust the director, trust that he knows how to do his job, then you're gonna get some good stuff because you're gonna step into that unknown, and that's when the stuff will be really good.
So when it came time to like speaking with the director, would they come to you and just be like, quick moment, these are a couple of thoughts I have, think on that, and then he goes and lets you do your thing? Or would you guys have like sit down and have like a tete-a-tete?
Sometimes you have a little bit of a discussion, but I find and especially and again why like I think this class relates very well to like on set is I remember being in this class and we would have gone through a minute of the scene and you go, hold on, take it back and think about this. You know what I mean? And I remember definitely on set there's not enough time to sit down and have a backstory conversation. That's why you have to, that's why it's so important to do it on your own, because no director is just going to sit down and be like, you think the childhood was or whatever. You just got to do that beforehand. But they will come and say a couple words to you, and those words need to be able to spark with you.
Yeah, you need to be able to translate those words quickly. Like if a director comes up to you and is like, okay, well, I think you could be a little bit harder, maybe a little bit more angrier here. I mean, it's a very result-oriented type of direction that you'll get on set. So, which is why you do all that backstory, so you're no longer just aiming for the result, but you have something that actually informs the result.
Absolutely.
You're drawing from that story.
My probably the favorite director that I had on season 1 was this tiny. Do you know Mary Lou Belli?
Yes,
she coaches in here sometimes. Yeah, she's my favorite director.
Love her to death.
She's like
Hi, Mary Lou.
5'1" lady.
She's
5'2".
a spitfire.
She's tiny, but she like commands the set, like hardcore. And she directed the episode when I like finally stand up to my dad and like shove him against the closet and like tell him he's not going to touch me anymore. And
good episode.
She directed the whole thing from inside the closet of my dorm room. I mean, she would go out and look at, like, don't get me wrong, she would go, but I remember one time I was like doing it and like I kind of have to like break down a little bit at the end, and I'm just like looking around from that, and she just out of the closet. And she's another one where we didn't have long conversations, but she would just whisper something in my ear in between scenes. And if your immediate reaction is to question what she's saying, then the scene's already halfway over once you realize. But if you immediately just trust your director and go, at least try it. We shoot on digital now, right? Jack Nicholson's famous quote is like, if you get an instinct, go for it, because if it doesn't work, now shoot it again. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like we should film as a beautiful thing. I hope we continue to use it, but it's also nice to have another crack at it. So.
Like, hey, man, can we do that again? Because that stunk.
Yeah. we all
can I try that one more time? I don't like that. No, that wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was wondering what was the most challenging part of learning how to act for you?
The most challenging part about learning how to act? Definitely the aspect of, like, really living through memories. Like, I found that really hard, like, to really make a memory in your mind be true, to trick your mind, which you can do. Swear to God that you can do it.
So long as the details are there.
Yeah, as long as the details are there. But to really believe in that is like really hard. To be honest, that's probably the hardest thing.
I mean, it is. But I think quite honestly, I think the hardest part about that is committing to getting the details down.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays when we are inundated by distractions left and right, like my cell phone, my laptop, everything's a freaking distraction right now. So to actually sit down and focus and try to like create this story and create this memory that's going to live in my brain, like it takes work. It takes time.
Absolutely.
Repetition.
The repetition.
Yeah.
Well, it takes the repetition, but once you do it over and over and over again, the easier it becomes. Then
you
just
start to trust it more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're creating new grooves in the brain, so to speak.
Yeah. So definitely like lying on the floor and like just creating a memory is hard. That was my hardest part because I'm a very
you meditate?
I don't know. I do now.
Yeah.
Now I guess that would be my hardest part is like meditate on memories because I'm like you said, like, I'm a very hard worker, but I don't think I'm just naturally gifted in like feeling and giving emotions. That was hard for me. You can't. Yeah, it's hard.
Something to work
Trust
on.
process. Yeah.
All of it.
Anybody over there?
What's up, Claire?
Hi, Claire.
How you doing?
So you're playing a role that's, I mean, you can pull so much from. But do you have what's your dream role? I guess. I mean, that's like such a big question, but
Dream
I feel
role?
like as actors,
Oh,
I mean, I
man.
know I
We all
have
have
one,
one.
and I'd be like, oh, that would be amazing if it got to something like that.
Probably like one of those.
Wait. You did play Superman, though.
Oh,
I saw that. That was pretty awesome.
I'm gonna need clarification
Oh
on this
man.
That was pretty cool.
one. Sounds like a story.
Probably like one of two things. I would say either like one of those epic, like big family dramas, like a Legends of the Fall type. You guys ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
You know, like one of those like big epic.
Like a Western? Would you
Not
want to
even
do?
a
Would you want to do a
Western.
Western?
I mean, a Western would be cool, but
Yeah, I mean, come on, a Western would be
course,
cool.
yeah.
Who wouldn't want to do a Western?
oh man,
I could see Jake as Doc Holliday and like,
Oh, baby.
right? That'd be badass.
yeah, like a remake of Tombstone.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that would be big time.
I'll be a Huckleberry.
Yeah.
That didn't come out right, but okay.
It's like, did you mean for that to
Can
sound
we
like you meant
retake
for
that?
to
This is digital, right?
Pretty sure we're live.
No, I'm live.
We're
I'm
pretty sure
live. We're live. We got that.
putting it on a loop.
So
okay.
Street
Maybe-
plays and
Well, we're gonna need to clip that one there.
You know what? No, you know what I would say actually, because like you said of like the connection. I do love football. It's always going to be a part of my life. And if I could make like a true like a whiplash of a football player and to show like other sides of football players than a lot of movies have shown, that I would be really proud to do that.
So I guess my follow-up question is, when are you going to create that?
That's a good question.
oh, she just threw down the gauntlet.
Right.
And is there a part for Claire?
Yeah.
And is there a
And
part?
what will be
She's
my
like,
role?
when are the
You guys
auditions?
are going to take ownership of this idea?
Yes, it's already recorded.
it's proof.
Nah, it's on the list. The problem is what people always tell me, and maybe I shouldn't be so afraid of it, is people always tell me, because I have written some scripts that have been able to sell, but what they have told me is sports movies are hard. And I think when I started out, I knew that I was good enough to, sell the script and things like that, but I wasn't sure if I was good enough to like write something that was the hardest thing to sell. You know what I mean?
Strange. 'Cause
And
I love
Whiplash is a good
sports
example
movie.
because I'm sure that movie was so hard to get made.
Which one?
Whiplash.
Oh yeah.
You know, we all know the story.
Football movie.
Favorite football movie is Friday Night Lights. Yeah, because again, it goes into the emotional lives of these guys and what they have to do, and I assimilate football movies to like action movies, and I like action movies as much as the next guy, but I could care less about the action if I don't know who the guy is that I don't want to get killed, and again, and like with football movies. I could care less if they win the game or lose the game or how cool the football stunts look if I don't know who the person is. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about Friday Night Lights. It's like at the end of the game, you like really want them to win because you want Billingsley to make his uncle proud and like you want Winchell to be able to win so he can get out of the town and all that stuff. So
character driven. You like character driven football ones.
Definitely.
So not Varsity
I'm a big
Blues.
drama guy. Yeah.
Program.
Varsity Blues. I love the program. Program I watched so many times before the pilot because of Joe Kane. I really thought that Joe Kane was kind of similar to Bo. He had this tough dad, and he just wants to please everyone, and like he's like keeping his edge and stuff like that. I just thought that was like a really interesting, maybe like the program TV show that needs. Maybe they kind of did that with the Blue Mountain State was like a little programmy.
Any other questions over here?
What's up?
Anybody?
I asked.
Here, what?
When you were first starting out, how did you go about discovering what your type was and then build your brand? And then how did you go about marketing yourself?
Yeah, definitely doing different classes is a great way. Is a great way to like figure out who you are. And I actually like asking other people, like, what could you see me playing? Or like, you know what I mean? If I'd be watching TV shows, I'd be like, who do you think I would be in this role? And also, if you just really like take a look back after like 2 months of auditioning, and you look back at the sides of the audition, you usually see a pattern. You know what I mean? And I definitely, saw like a lot of frat guys. You know what I mean? I saw like a lot of like kind of preppy frat guy or something like that, and like a lot of athletes and things like that. I think we did something in this class where we wrote down like our type, or we asked five people.
That's something that Scott specializes in. Kind of thing, and like casting and typing yourself.
Yeah, and
typing exercise.
And I do think if you are okay with branding yourself as your type, instead of fighting against it so hard, the best way, I think, honestly, I think Bojan, like my name's Bojan in the story, like how more stereotypical could that be of like this not smart football guy from Texas? But if you play the shit out of Bojan, then by episode 7 you're getting an amazing storyline. Because the writers will trust you with more. But if you just fight it, if you're like, no, I played football in college, why would I want to play a football player now? I became an actor to do other things. Then you won't work.
Play your strengths.
Yeah, and the only way to break from that is to do it. I mean, how many times do you see an actor, you're like, oh my God, like the actor who was, like Chris Pratt maybe is a good example, right? He's playing like the goofy funny guy, funny guy. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he gets to transform into the superhero.
Literally.
Like, exactly, because he played the hell out of his stereotype for years and years.
Yeah. Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, great example.
Jamie Foxx.
The Rock.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I've been told my type is the douche, so I guess I gotta commit to that.
Yeah, I mean,
and you'd be surprised how few times you have to play the douche until you get something else. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Jeremy Piven played the douche a lot.
Oh yeah.
Wait, Jeremy who?
Jeremy Piven. In a lot of stuff. Ryan Reynolds.
Great douche.
Ryan Reynolds started off as kind of douchey, right? And a lot of the fast talking kind of douche. Friends and
but like,
2 guys, a girl, in a pizza place was like his.
Jake Gyllenhaal is my favorite actor.
Okay.
And he really started out in his teens. He was kind of the like, I wouldn't say nerdy, but just kind of like off the wall, quiet, in the stars kind of guy. In the space movie that he did,
Life.
No, I mean that one now, but like when he was a kid, October Sky, things like that. And he worked and did the hell out of it, and made it multi-layered and things like that. And then now he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I mean,
playing Nightcrawler and Billy Hope, a southpaw boxer, in the same year.
I mean, you got to play the game for a little while in order to transcend to really become.
In order to make decisions in the game.
When I first started out here, everything was the gangbanger and the or dealer number 1 or whatever. And now I've grown into be able to also be able to play the cop who arrests those guys.
Oh yeah,
so
nice.
you never know what can happen.
Full circle.
Yeah, so it's going around full circle. Yeah.
Or at least you work up to like where those characters are more layered. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? What's his name? Riz Ahmed from The Night Of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or that's his name in the show.
No, that's his name.
Oh, that's his name in real life.
Yeah.
But that's like a good point. Like that character is what we've all seen, but he got to like do it in this new incredible way.
Yeah, IMDb does this thing where it's, no small parts.
I love that.
That no small parts thing. It's like these little videos on the IMDb page, and they'll talk about where an actor like first started, and now look at where they are now, and it's true.
It's amazing.
All right, one last question, and then we got a little game we're gonna play.
Answer.
Cool.
Rios, what you got for me?
every
Maston. Real Maston, somebody.
All right. Oh, I got.
Oh, Lance.
Just walk us through your day, like your heaviest
worst day?
Work day. Work day. Walk us through the day. When you wake up, what's the procedure when you get on set to when you leave?
I usually
Bullet points.
my wake up meditation is definitely to work out, and definitely when it came to Bojan, I really wanted him to be like this football machine that his dad created that has chinks in the armor, chinks in the chain that are kind of messed up. So I really wanted him on this 4:30 a.m. regimen, that he can't sleep in without working out and stuff like that. So work out, go to set, drink a little tea with some honey, do some vocal warm-ups. I still say the Shakespeare one, or I do Invictus. I like to pick maybe a mantra for the character, or a theme poem or something like that that you can always go to, in a pinch. Like you were talking about the tool belt, in a pinch. Yeah. I'm just going to go say that poem 3 times in my head and then go into the scene. So do a vocal warm-up or something like that. Then they usually bring us out and block the scene. It's usually a good chance if you want to try to rehearse it or run it or something like that. And then honestly, you just get out of the way for the crew to do their thing, and then come blow out the scene, and then eat. Go to craft service.
What about on an off day? What's an off day like?
An off day, I would work out again, and then try to prepare for 2 hours, whatever that was. I would literally, sometimes the actor's life is so you don't clock in and clock out.
Yeah.
But just because you're just because you're not shooting that day, or you have an off day, or I don't have an audition today, so I don't have to work. It's
you work every day.
Why not? I would just set my clock for 2 hours, and I needed to be doing some type of acting work for 2 hours. Whether that's whether I'm lucky enough to have a script and have a scene that I'm actually going to shoot, or if it's character building, journaling, memory building. You know what I mean? I would play my Bojan soundtrack while I built those memories, so that when I am on set, I can just put that iPod in and it clicks you right back in. Right. How many times does a song come on the radio?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh well, man, Homecoming, sophomore year. You know what I mean? And that is the same thing that you can build. And so I would do that in my room, and then try to also at the same time get away from it in some way. Try I went to a lot of new restaurants in Atlanta just for something to do, or go hiking with my screen dad, and my real dad was not too happy about that. I would always say,
are you cheating on me?
Your dad's staring up at home.
Really? You replaced me.
He said he forgave me because he thought the scenes were good. I watched, and the scenes were pretty good. I forgive you. You do what you had to do. I respect your process.
Would you have been disowned if they were not good? If he thought they were
I hope not. I just want to make my dad proud.
Art imitating life. Imitating life, right there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. And I love, when I'm shooting something, or I don't know, if I'm, going through an audition or something, like the audition process, I love watching, and this part, I'm a writer too, so I love just being around, good material. I love watching, really good movies or good television show, while I'm shooting something. It just keeps you, motivated. Even if it's not exactly about your character. I watched that movie, Creed.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
So Creed is not a football movie, but what is Adonis trying to do the whole time? He's trying to make his dad proud, right? So I would watch that movie on freaking repeat. You know what I mean? Just because those themes are just running through you. So yeah, trying to watch a really good movie at night just keeps you. I don't know, just keeps your mind in the right place. I don't know, especially I was so lucky to be on a show for multiple months. So blessed to have that.
How many months were you working?
For about 3.5 months.
3.5 months, just immersed in a character.
Yeah. In Atlanta, I didn't know anybody, so which is a good thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's almost like you're at summer stock or something.
Yeah,
exactly.
Really. Yeah. But it is a long time, so you want to keep yourself motivated in the right ways, and you don't want to drive yourself mad.
How do you treat yourself?
Treat myself at the end of every episode wrap. I would go to Chick-fil-A.
What do you order?
3 Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches and waffle fries. Fruit punch.
What, do you do the split lemonade fruit punch?
No, just fruit punch. I'm a
You almost had her.
Yeah, but
I saw the wedding ring come out.
We're getting married.
No, I think it's good to have that though, like, because then, like when we're talking about how hard it is to like lay on the floor and create the worst, like why would anyone lay on the floor and create the worst memory that a person has ever gone through in their life? Why would you actively be like, I'm gonna go like pretend that my dad like just beat the hell out of me. Like this is gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
But if you know that there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, whether that's Chick-fil-A with your best friends or doing a part that people are gonna tweet at you and say, "Hey man, that happened to me," and like I thought you were like perfect for it, or like. You know what I mean? Have you
got a lot of outreach from other people that have been tweeting?
Good amount,
yeah.
Good amount, I would say, for the show as a whole, because we go into a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Especially sexual assault. So there's been a ton from that. But specifically, there were a good amount of kind of football guys that have been like, oh man, like no one ever knows the pressure of a football player. Way to really helm that or whatever, and that's cool for me. Like I said, like wanting to do a football, like a real dramatic football role, like. That would be why, because it's something so close to me.
Bring it home for everybody to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why we do it. I always like
it humanizes the whole thing, man.
Yeah,
because a lot of people go around thinking that that athletes are just
jocks.
Whatever. It's nice to break the stereotype
whatever.
too. Yeah.
No, but everybody's got a story. Everybody's
absolutely.
Human. Yeah,
absolutely.
Cool. Speaking of stories and what everybody's got. Or should we just break into the game?
Probably the game.
I think we should break into the game.
Yeah, let's break
into the game. You got any theme music for the game there, Sammy?
Let's see what this sounds
No
like.
pressure.
Boring.
Whoa. Is that Homer Simpson?
All right, into the game.
Wow.
And into the game.
All right, so that's it.
Is that it?
We already leave with the games, boy.
All right, the game is Marry, Bang, Kill with the top 3 of IMDb.
Marry, Bang,
Ooh. All right, so we're going to go around. We'll start off with Sammy first. Marry, Bang, Kill with the top 3 of IMDb.
You want to announce who they are?
The top 3 are Jessica Henwick.
She's number 1.
She's the actress from Game of Thrones. She's also in Iron Fist. She's the love interest. The beautiful Asian girl from... Here, I'll flip it around so everybody can see.
How's she number 1 and we all don't know?
Well, that happens all the time.
Because it's hot on Netflix right now.
That's her.
Can we?
Yeah, sure, we can see that.
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay.
All right.
Good luck.
Bigger screen.
Okay. So that's 1. All right. 2 would be... all the girls are going to know this one. Dan Stevens.
Yes.
Yes.
Dan Stevens.
Oh my God.
Dan Stevens.
Yes.
He's currently in the Beast and Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Played
The Beast.
Matthew in Downton Abbey.
For the guys, Legion.
Yes.
Legion. Yeah, he's on Legion.
He's
For the
very
guys.
good.
Freaking Legion.
Legion. All right.
At the same time as
And he does have piercing blue eyes, I will say that. They both go at the same time. That's great. And Finn Jones, Iron Fist, the guy that's playing Iron Fist right now.
Or the Knight of
I had no
Flowers.
idea.
Or the Knight of Flowers from Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So this is an easy
All
one.
right, so this is an easy one. All right, so
Look at
There.
wait, Claire didn't see Finn Jones yet. There you go.
She's the guy who had to see this. To play this game properly.
Oh, I like her.
Okay.
I approve.
All right. Well, we're good.
All right,
Sammy.
Marry, Bang, Kill. It's easily from top down. Marry Jessica, for sure. I think everyone approves. Bang the Beast.
Yeah.
He's the Beast. And I'm going to kill off Finn Jones.
I'm gonna kill off Lynch.
Good man.
Good choices. Good choices. Veronica.
What about you?
For me, I'm gonna marry the Beast because childhood Beauty and the Beast is my favorite movie since like forever. I'm going to kill Jessica because I want her job.
Wow, ruthless. You're gonna Nancy Kerrigan her.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry. And then I'm gonna bang Iron Fist so he'll bring me on set so I can start making contacts to take what's her face's place.
Wow.
wow. Ruthless.
Wow.
I don't know you anymore.
Who who is this person?
He's like,
This is so wrong.
I never knew you.
Yeah, you think you know somebody. You do a podcast with someone.
Just
You know,
one podcast.
do an hour
In like
podcast.
3 hours we know each other.
Sweet little Veronica's
I'm a
just.
little disgusted right now.
I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit back right now.
I gotta say. All right, for me, it's gonna be marry Jessica because I feel like, well, I've seen her in Game of Thrones and I've seen her in Iron Fist, and I feel like she could be my bodyguard at the same time, and I wouldn't mind that body guarding my body. I really, I guess I would bang the Beast because I mean, if I got a gun in my head, I'm with Sammy on that one. And then Finn Jones, he's got to die.
He's just gotta die.
He's just got to die. I mean, I've seen. I'm gonna try and be
I feel like
nice.
the Beast is a stage 4 clinger, though.
He's just.
You think the Beast is gonna be clingier?
Really clingy. That's I don't want to bang him anymore.
Because I mean,
It's too late now.
because
Why?
he only knows the enchanted objects, so he doesn't really know people. So I can see him being clingy to make.
Well,
him
nobody said
he's
you actually had to love him so he could turn back into a prince. You just gotta bang him.
You just got that out.
You don't have to
just
love
have to
him.
bang him.
You just gotta bang him. That's all.
Isn't he not allowed to leave the
I've
mansion?
made my choice.
Yeah, well,
the
yeah,
castle?
that's the thing. You can't leave the mansion. Yeah.
Yeah. How could he can be a clinger if he can't leave, right?
Good point.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Get in and get out.
Get in and get out.
No promotional.
All right, Jake. Mary Bankill.
I would marry Jessica, who I don't actually really know at all, but I'd like to marry a lady. And,
Good choice. Good choice.
I would bang out the Beast.
Because to say bang.
Because like I said earlier when you told me about this game, I feel like if you bang the Beast,
That's true.
you're it's a power move.
Right up.
And then I would kill the other guy. I never really liked him on Game of Thrones. So I wanted to kill him then.
Yeah.
If I got another crack at it, I'd probably.
So how is what I said worse than what all of y'all have said?
Because we weren't using ours to get ahead.
Yeah.
You just want to kill him.
We
just
weren't
'cause.
using ours to get ahead
I
in our
had a reason.
careers.
Y'all just want to kill him because you don't
Oof.
like him.
You're ruthless.
I'm just saying.
The,
Also-
the devil has curly hair.
Whatever.
Also, Legion is on at the same time as the Quad. So definitely, I mean, that is a great show, right? So
Competition.
we always see it on
Oh.
Twitter and stuff.
Yes.
And I would definitely just be like, yeah. I'm
Bang
banging
them.
him.
Respect.
Yeah. Like, oh, you're trending? That's cool.
Oh, you're true.
Power move. It's a terrible power move.
And that was Mary Bankill with the top 3 of IMDb. Jake, thank you so much.
Thank you.
thank
And for
you.
everything.
Let's go get some tacos because I'm
Please and
hungry.
thank you.
Does
I'm
anybody want to go get
starving.
tacos? Let's go
Tacos
get
is always
tacos.
a good idea.
Thank you for listening to Hurry Up and Wait LA here at Scott Sedita Acting Studios. And thank you for the 360 camera. Thank you, audience. And you win a car, you win a car, and you win a car!
Yeah, look under your seats.
Yeah, they're
Free
actually
iPods.
keys. They're actually under your seats.
Hey, thank you guys for coming on a Friday night.